Let's talk about Top Gun Maverick, okay? Another San Diego Comic Con trailer that was kind of a surprise. I guess Tom Cruise just kind of stepped in there and was like, hey guys, guess what? Boom, trailer. So, let's talk about the movie. I'm continuing my series here on World of Geekdom about San Diego Comic Con movies and the reveals. Top Gun Maverick is a sequel to the 80s Top Gun movie, which again, it's from the 80s. It's a well over, 30 years old. Well, right around 30 years old. And Top Gun was a big movie for me because, and I've talked on Speakdoms on this channel about my brother and the things that my brother got me into, like when I was a little kid. And Top Gun was one of those movies. I watched Top Gun with my brother maybe 7 or 8 times. I mean, it was like a thing for us, right? My brother loved Top Gun a lot. When I was a kid, Top Gun is the movie that got me into being like a fan of like, because when I was a kid, I was a big fan of like war toys. Like I had a lot of like not just army men, right? But I had like big aircraft carriers and like I had like little planes, like little metallic planes. I would play with them. Like I was really into that kind of stuff, and it was Top Gun that got me into it. It was Top Gun. I love Top Gun. Love Top Gun. That's a movie I grew up with. People are like, oh, that movie's gay because, the volleyball scene. That's like one scene of the movie, and come on, dude. Like, you're stretching with that one. Like, the dude hooks up with a girl and everything. Like, stop. But, I mean, I guess I guess that scene was supposed to be like, kind of like whatever, but the movie itself is I love that film. I mean, it's an alpha movie. Maverick's a great character. Iceman, like it's a classic. It's a real classic film if you ask me. And man, there have been rumors of a Top Gun 2 for years. Dude, Tony Scott, one of my favorite directors ever. I actually like Tony Scott more than Ridley Scott, which a lot of film fans think I'm crazy when I say that, but dude, Tony Scott made True Romance, Days of Thunder, Top Gun. I mean, the Beverly Hills Cop 2. The guy's got a tremendous resume. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like Ridley Scott, even though he did kind of fell off a bit recently. With all due respect, I mean, I don't like Ridley Scott, but I mean, he hasn't been as consistent as he was before. But Tony Scott was my dude, and so when he died a few years ago, they were like, yo, Top Gun 2's been put on hold because he's dead. He was the visionary behind Top Gun 1, and now here we have Top Gun 2, Top Gun Maverick. I just can't believe they're doing a sequel to this movie because I feel like there's a generational gap here. Like, I talked about it a little bit with Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. There's a generational gap. Those movies came out in the late 90s. Weed humor was getting over. We were in that kind of rebellious time when South Park, the WWF Attitude Era, video games were becoming more violent. Like, everything, anime was blowing up. If you were around in the late 90s, there was a cultural shift into a harder edge society, which I might do a whole video on because it's very interesting, right? And that's why I wondered if Jay and Silent Bob Reboot would work. With this movie, I really wonder if it'll work because, dogfighting and fighter pilots aren't really a thing anymore. The military does. I mean, the last time we had a real degree of dogfighting was, I think, the Korean War, I want to say, or the Vietnam War, and that was pretty much it. Really, it was mostly World War II, to my knowledge. Now, I'm not an expert on this whatsoever, but I think there was a lot more of it in World War II. Actual, like, planes fighting each other, Nowadays, the military just bombs you, right, and just comes in and just takes you out early. So, and obviously in real life, because I've seen the footage, when you're in a plane, when you're a fighter pilot, it's not like how it is in Top Gun where, it's crazy like 80s music and, you're firing, fire, switching the guns. That's not how it works anymore. You have to get permission to fire and, all these different things, man. It's just not the same. So it's like from a realistic approach, like, could it work? But obviously what they're going for is a Maverick in Top Gun Maverick. And I hope you all have seen the original Top Gun. If you haven't, I'm not going to spoil the movie here necessarily, but there are going to be some light spoilers. So I suggest you go see the movie before you come back and see this movie. But in this movie, it's been years. Obviously, Goose died in Top Gun, and that hit him really hard. And in this film, he's going to be helping Goose's son become a pilot, which, again, this is very similar to what they did with Creed and Force Awakens, where it's the previous generation passing the torch. Very common thing we've seen in films that bring back retro movies. Whenever you bring back an old thing, all that makes perfect sense, right? Well, anyways, Maverick is the last of his kind. Maverick's kind is fading away because the military doesn't really need these kinds of guys anymore. We're in a different era now, and well, I mean, they need them, but not that many, and certainly not guys as old as Maverick, in this film, because he's probably going to be in his 50s, legit, and he's gonna have this time in the sun. It's just the thing about Top Gun 1 is that relationship between him and Kelly McGinnis, Charlie in the movie, and his relationship with Goose, Anthony Edwards is the actor that plays him, was like what really made that movie. It wasn't just Tom Cruise being charismatic. These actors and him had great chemistry. Great chemistry, I feel. And neither one will be in this film, from what I understand. Now, Val Kilmer will be in it. He's in the trailer for like a brief second. And he looks extremely thin. I was surprised to see how thin he was. It's got Ed Harris going to be in the movie. Well, another great actor. It's going to be... it's got a good crop of actors, but... again, this is one of those movies that I was really skeptical about until I saw the trailer. So in the trailer, they're talking about how pretty much, you've had a great career in the military, but you're not even at the rank you should be. You should have already been at this higher rank and retired. But there's something about being a fighter pilot or an instructor like he left off in the last movie that just keeps pulling him back. And that original movie had a great group of alpha actors: Tom Skerritt, Michael Ironside. It's a tremendous cast. The principal from Back to the Future is in that movie. You two characters are going to Top Gun. What a great movie! I'm marking out right now because I love Top Gun. Well, that is an incredible movie. I'm gonna put you up against the best. I love that scene, man. I love that actor, man. Oh, it was such a great film. And this movie, like, I don't know if it's gonna hit me in the feels like the old Top Gun did, because I love how at the end of the movie they gotta go fight for real. This is not training. This is the real thing now, gentlemen. And then Tom Skerritt's like, hey, if you can't get a Rio, give me a call. I'll fly with you. Man, what a great movie. I love Top Gun, bro. If you don't like Top Gun, there's something wrong with you, man. And you got to watch that movie. But I don't mean to fanboy out in the middle of this review, or this, this trailer breakdown gimmick thing, or whatever, rambling. I'm probably going to put it in the rambling folder, but rambling playlist. But, dude, in the trailer... he's basically saying, it is my time to retire, but not yet, sir. Not yet. He's got one more mission left in him, and we see some shots of the planes in the sky. They'll probably make a CGI, which sucks because the original Top Gun movie was so well made. They used the combination of real fighter pilots from the Top Gun Academy, from the Naval Aviation Academy, and they used miniatures. So it looked real. Everything looked so real, and... I'm so excited for this movie. I literally was dreading this film, but thinking back to the first Top Gun and how much I love it, I mean, I'm gonna be there. And again, I'm really skeptical a little bit, because I'm still skeptical because Tom Cruise, dude, The Mummy was trash. I mean, Tom Cruise, not all his movies work. Okay, I mean, the guy is a very wealthy actor. Very accomplished actor, a legend. I mean, the dude's been in. Dude, go watch Born the 4th of July, dude. That's one of the best performances ever. Performances, right? Here we go with Maverick, and who's going to be the enemy? Like, what's it going to be? Like, what's Val Kilmer's role? Because they made peace at the end of Top Gun 1. There's just so many unanswered questions here. 30 years later, are they both instructors? Will we see cameos from... previous characters? Will Kelly McGinnis make a cameo? I mean, it could be a big surprise at the end. Like, I know they'd love to do fan service in these reboot movies. And again, I'm not saying it's really a reboot movie, but it is. It's a sequel, but it's also like, I mean, okay, it's not really a reboot because they're not going to make a franchise out of it, to my knowledge. It's going to be just the one sequel and that's it, to my knowledge. I mean, if it makes a crap ton of money, they might. But it's just great to see this iconic 80s character from an era forgotten, really, because the era of the fighter pilots is over. Because that movie came out right, as the Persian Gulf War was getting big. So, I mean, it was a good time to put that movie out right before it happened. And that's when I started watching it, during the, the Saudi Arabia, Saddam Hussein thing, when I was a little kid. Watch it on VHS, but I have a lot of warm memories of that film, and I want to revisit those when Top Gun Maverick comes out. But again, though, I'm looking forward to the movie. I'm gonna go see it, but I am a bit skeptical because it's these movies are hit or miss, dude. It could end up being complete and utter trash, and that's gonna be a real disappointment because it's a movie I never thought needed to be made. After seeing the trailer, I'm happy it is being made, but oh man, like I'm still a tiny bit skeptical about it, to be real with you. A little bit skeptical because I really don't know what they're gonna do. But the idea of like an aging Maverick needing to retire but still having one more fight left in him, that's classic storytelling. It's Rocky Balboa all over again. I got one more left in me, you know what I'm saying? And that's essentially what we're seeing here. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing the movie, even though the trailer did not show much. There's a lot of good actors in it. And let's see. I mean, one of the guys that wrote this movie, the movie has 4 writers, which could actually be a bad thing when you think about it. But one of the guys that wrote it helped write The Usual Suspects, which is a great freaking film. So I really can't be entirely skeptical about it. And I'm not super, quote, worried because nothing will make the original, nothing will ruin the original. See what I'm saying? The original as a standalone movie, I think, is always going to be a favorite of mine, no matter what. I have bought that movie on VHS, on DVD, on Blu-ray, every time it comes out. I haven't got it on 4K yet. I'm sure I will at some point. So I'm looking forward to seeing it as a Top Gun fan. And again, the trailer looks pretty cool. I'm hoping the CGI for the planes or whatever they're going to do, hopefully it's mostly models, looks really good and realistic because that is what helped the original a lot. And I heard that Kenny Loggins' song, Highway to the Danger Zone, Danger Zone's the name of the song, is going to be in the movie. So that's it. You got me on that one. I'm going to go see it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And I just want to close the video out by saying that I really, really wish my brother was alive to see this movie. That it really hurts that he's gone because, geez, it sucks. He should have seen this movie. I'll talk to y'all later.